If you were to Google the term angel from the Bible, you'd probably end up with an image that looks something a little like this. But would you be surprised if I told you that real angels don't actually look like that, and actually look like this? Well, where mysterious beings and creatures are concerned, this is far from it. But enigmatic beings like the angel of death to mythical creatures like the Leviathan, the Bible has it all, and you might want to stay till the end, as what you thought you knew to be a biblical myth might actually be real, with the creature at the number 1 being a real shocker. But for now, let's start off with mysterious being number 10, the 24 Elders. The 24 elders mentioned in the Bible, particularly in the book of Revelation, stands as one of the most intriguing and enigmatic entities within biblical literature. Described as seated around the throne of God, clothed in white robes and wearing golden crowns, they are depicted as venerable figures, exuding an aura of authority and wisdom. One of the primary elements contributing to the mysteriousness of the 24 elders is the ambiguity surrounding their origin and nature. Unlike some other beings in biblical texts whose identities are explicitly explained, the elders emerge without clear context or explanation. They appear suddenly in the heavenly vision of John, the author of Revelation, without prior introduction or explanation of their purpose. This lack of background information has sparked numerous theories and interpretations among theologians and biblical scholars over the centuries. Furthermore, the symbolism associated with the number 24 adds another layer of mystery to the elders. In biblical numerology, the number 24 is often seen as representative of completeness or wholeness. Some interpretations suggest that the elders symbolize the entirety of redeemed humanity, or represent the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 apostles, thus encompassing both Old and New Testament believers. Others propose that they may symbolize heavenly representatives or elders of the celestial realm, serving alongside angels in the divine council. Another aspect contributing to the mysteriousness of the 24 elders is their role within the heavenly court. Described as offering worship and praise to God, they play a significant part in the celestial scenes depicted in Revelation. However, the specific functions they perform beyond this act of adoration remain ambiguous. Could these beings actually serve as intercessors between God and humanity? Or are they just witnesses and advisors to the unfolding events of the world? Maybe the question we should be asking is, how do we even get in contact with them? Well, as we talk about witnesses, the next mysterious being might know a thing or two about it. Number 9, the Watchers. Who are the Watchers? According to the biblical narrative, the Watchers are a group of angels who defy divine decree by descending to earth and intermingling with humanity. Their descent to earth represents a pivotal moment in cosmic history, marking the intersection of the celestial and terrestrial realms. Furthermore, it did not stop there, and as these beings came to earth, these angels mated with mortal women and gave rise to a race of giants known as the Nephilim, triggering divine judgment and cataclysmic events, specifically the flood of Noah. Well, you see, one of the most renowned accounts of the Watchers is actually found in the book of Enoch. In this apocryphal work, Enoch recounts his visionary experiences with the Watchers. According to him, the Watchers descended to earth to teach forbidden knowledge and secrets of the cosmos to humanity. Even though this led to the swift advancement of the human race, it also caused widespread moral corruption and spiritual degradation. The interesting thing is that the Bible isn't the only one that talks about them. Well, you see, if we take a look at ancient Sumerian texts and drawings, it paints a very descriptive picture about how a group of beings that came down from the stars to teach them about civilization, war, and weapons. The question is, where are they now? The flood might have wiped out a big part of the tainted humanity. But if these beings are who they are meant to be, could it be possible that they survived the cataclysm and are potentially running things from behind the scenes? In order to figure that out, we need to take a closer look at the missing link between these beings and humans. Number 8. The Nephilim. The concept of the Nephilim stems from a cryptic passage in the book of Genesis, where it is suggested that divine beings, often interpreted as angels, descended to earth and interbred with human women, giving rise to a race of giants known as the Nephilim. This union between celestial and terrestrial beings defies conventional understanding and challenges the boundaries between the divine and the mortal, leading to profound theological implications. Throughout the biblical narrative, references to the Nephilim are scarce and veiled in ambiguity, leaving much room for interpretation and conjecture. Some scholars interpret the Nephilim as symbols of human sin and moral corruption, reflecting the moral decay of humanity leading up to the flood in the time of Noah. But they are very, very real, as seen from the events of David and Goliath to the Canaanites in the land of milk and honey that the Israelites were supposed to defeat. Furthermore, the evidence left on earth, giant tree stumps, giant caves, to petrified mountains that resemble huge human beings, seem to suggest that beings of that size did roam the earth before. The thing is, are these creatures still around? There is evidence that giants existed as recently as the late 1800s, but what happened to them? And if the Bible is accurate, how did they survive the events of Noah's flood? While we're on the topic of giants, maybe we want to return our attention from giant humans to giant creatures. Number 7. Behemoth and Leviathan. In the ancient text of the book of Job, amidst the poetic dialogue between Job and his companions, the Behemoth and Leviathan emerge as majestic and enigmatic creatures of the deep. Described in vivid detail, these mythical beings captivate the imagination and evoke a sense of awe and wonder. The Behemoth, described as a colossal beast, with limbs like tree trunks and a tail that sways like a cedar tree, represents the untamed forces of nature and the power of creation. Some interpretations view the Behemoth as a literal creature, possibly an ancient dinosaur or a mythical behemoth of ancient folklore. But the two they know for sure is that it was huge and had a navel. The evidence shows that it's not an egg-laying animal. It eats grass like an ox, and its power is in its stomach muscles. Similarly, the Leviathan, depicted as a fearsome sea monster with scales like armor and breath that kindles coals, symbolizes the untamed forces of chaos and destruction. Like the Behemoth, interpretations of the Leviathan range from the literal to the symbolic. Some view the Leviathan as a literal sea creature, possibly a giant whale or a mythical Leviathan of ancient legend. Others see the Leviathan as a metaphor for cosmic chaos and primordial darkness, representing the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness. The reason for these creatures is to demonstrate to Job how powerless he is before this creature. There is nothing he can do. Even though some speculate that these creatures were used as a metaphor, in 64 BC, the bones of a creature that matched the description of the Leviathan were actually found and displayed in Rome's largest theater. Although we can't confirm that it is actually the creature, it does come very close. While we can't confirm the existence of the Behemoth or the Leviathan, the next one, however mythical they might sound, has actually been confirmed to be real. Number 6. Seraphim and Cherubim, celestial guardians. As much as we are conditioned to think angels look like this, it is actually far from the truth. And if we look at the accurate description of seraphim and cherubim, you'll realize that they are actually 6-winged creatures and 4-winged creatures that, funnily enough, represent the Anunnaki in ancient Sumerian drawings. But that's beside the point. The seraphim, with their fiery presence and fervent devotion, are often depicted as the highest order of angels, standing in perpetual adoration before the throne of God. Their name, derived from the Hebrew word seraph, meaning burning ones, speaks to their intense passion and zeal for divine worship. In the visions of prophets and mystics, the seraphim appear as majestic beings, their wings enveloping the divine presence in a canopy of celestial splendor. Similarly, the cherubim, with their cherubic faces and outstretched wings, embody the divine attributes of wisdom, knowledge, and protection. In the biblical narrative, the cherubim are often depicted as guardians of sacred spaces, such as the Garden of Eden or the Ark of the Covenant, wielding flaming swords to guard the gates of paradise. Their presence symbolizes the eternal vigilance of divine providence, watching over the affairs of humanity with steadfast care and compassion. It is said that there is a cherubim guarding the gates to the Garden of Eden, so if you find the cherub, perhaps you'll be a step closer to finding the Garden of Eden. As we talk about ancient lost gardens, the next being on our list takes us to the ancient city of Salem, where we find this being. Number 5. Melchizedek. Described in the book of Genesis, Melchizedek is depicted as a priest-king of Salem who blessed Abraham, the patriarch of the Hebrew people. Melchizedek's significance lies in his unique role as both a priest and a king, a combination that was rare and highly esteemed in ancient Near Eastern societies. His encounter with Abraham, in which he offers bread and wine as symbols of blessing and hospitality, foreshadows the institution of the priesthood and the sacrament of the Eucharist in Christian tradition. Moreover, Melchizedek's blessing of Abraham, the father of the Hebrew people, underscores his status as a figure of divine favor and authority. Yet, the mysteriousness surrounding Melchizedek comes from his origins. Unlike other biblical figures whose genealogy and lineage are meticulously recorded, Melchizedek appears out of nowhere and without explanation, and no one can figure out where he came from. The Epistle to the Hebrews further deepens the mystery, portraying Melchizedek as a type of Christ, an eternal priest-king who transcends the boundaries of time and space. So where did Melchizedek come from? Some speculate that he's a historical figure, possibly a Canaanite ruler or priest-king of Salem. Others see him as a prefiguration of Christ, a divine mediator who bridges the gap between heaven and earth. Still others regard Melchizedek as a symbolic figure, representing the eternal priesthood and the universal reign of God's grace and mercy. And while the mystery of where Melchizedek comes from doesn't hurt his credibility and priesthood, the next being might do the exact opposite. Enter number 4, the Witch of Endor. Known only as the Witch of Endor, she emerges from the shadows of biblical history as a figure cloaked in enigma and superstition. According to the Old Testament, the Witch of Endor possessed a peculiar ability, one that stirred both fear and fascination among the people of her time: the power to summon the spirits of the dead. The Witch of Endor's most famous encounter occurs in the book of Samuel, where King Saul, plagued by despair and uncertainty on the eve of battle, seeks her counsel in a moment of desperation. Despite the prohibition against witchcraft in Israelite law, Saul clandestinely visits the Witch of Endor, disguised in a bid to gain insight into the outcome of the impending conflict. In a dramatic and haunting scene, the Witch of Endor conjures the spirit of the prophet Samuel from the realm of the dead, delivering a chilling prophecy of doom and destruction upon Saul and his kingdom. Interpretations of the Witch of Endor's powers and identity vary widely among scholars and theologians. Some view her as a mere charlatan, exploiting the fears and superstitions of the people for personal gain. Others see her as a genuine medium, tapping into spiritual realms beyond human comprehension. Still others regard her as a symbol of divine judgment, serving as a harbinger of doom for those who stray from the path of righteousness. From doom to those who are not righteous, we take a turn to look at these mysterious beings that are the guardians of the throne. Number 3, the 4 living creatures. In the mystical visions of the book of Revelation, the veil between the earthly and heavenly realms is drawn aside to reveal the awe-inspiring presence of the 4 living creatures. These beings, described as having the faces of a lion, an ox, a human, and an eagle, stand as guardians of the divine throne, their majestic forms radiating with celestial splendor. Symbolizing the totality of creation, the 4 living creatures embody the divine attributes of strength, wisdom, humanity, and transcendence. Their presence in the heavenly court signifies the cosmic order and harmony that reigns over all creation, as well as the divine providence that guides and sustains the universe. In Christian iconography, the 4 living creatures are depicted in various artistic representations, each imbued with layers of symbolic meaning and theological significance. In medieval illuminated manuscripts and Byzantine mosaics, they are portrayed as celestial beings with multiple wings, their faces gazing steadfastly towards the divine presence. In Renaissance paintings and Baroque sculptures, they are depicted in majestic poses, their forms evoking a sense of divine majesty and cosmic power. Speaking of divine majesty and cosmic power, we come to number 2, Angel of Death. Emerging as a haunting and significant figure, the Angel of Death represents the ultimate manifestation of divine judgment over life and death. His appearance is marked by solemnity and awe as he executes the divine decree of judgment upon the disobedient and the unrepentant. One of the most significant appearances of the Angel of Death is recorded in the book of Exodus during the final plague upon Egypt. As the Israelites languished in slavery, Moses, the reluctant leader, confronted Pharaoh, demanding the release of his people. Yet, Pharaoh's heart remained hardened, and he refused to yield to divine authority. In response, God sent the Angel of Death to strike down the firstborn of every household in Egypt, sparing only those who had marked their doors with the blood of the Passover lamb. The scene is depicted with chilling solemnity as the Angel of Death sweeps through the land, his presence is heralded by darkness and despair. From the palaces of the mighty to the humblest hovels of the poor, no household is spared from the divine judgment. The wails of mourning echo through the streets as the Angel of Death carries out his grim task, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. The evidence of the Angel of Death's presence is unmistakable as the lifeless bodies of the firstborn lie strewn across the land, a grim reminder of the consequences of disobedience and rebellion against divine authority. Yet, amidst the darkness and despair, there is a glimmer of hope for the faithful, as the blood of the Passover lamb serves as a symbol of redemption and deliverance from the grip of death. His appearance serves as a reminder of the fragility of human existence and the need for humility and obedience in the face of divine authority. Whether viewed as a harbinger of doom or a messenger of redemption, the Angel of Death continues to haunt the imaginations of believers, inspiring awe and reverence for the mysteries of divine providence. And if the Angel of Death wasn't mysterious enough, we come to the Prince of the Earth, number 1, Lucifer. A figure of profound complexity and intrigue. Originally depicted as a glorious and exalted being, Lucifer was once among the highest-ranking angels in the heavenly hierarchy. Endowed with beauty, wisdom, and authority, he stood as a radiant beacon of divine splendor in the courts of heaven. However, Lucifer's pride and ambition led to his downfall, as he coveted power and glory beyond his appointed station. In his rebellion against God, Lucifer sought to exalt himself above the Most High, challenging divine authority and inciting conflict among the heavenly hosts. His insatiable thirst for supremacy and his refusal to submit to divine will ultimately led to his expulsion from the heavenly realms, casting him down from the heights of glory into the depths of darkness. As for Lucifer's current whereabouts, biblical mythology offers little concrete information. According to Christian tradition, Lucifer is often identified with Satan, the adversary of God and the embodiment of evil. In this view, Lucifer is depicted as a fallen angel who roams the earth, seeking to deceive and tempt humanity into sin. However, other interpretations suggest that Lucifer is imprisoned or confined to the realm of darkness, awaiting final judgment and redemption. While all that is said, he is the great deceiver, and maybe he's been plotting and disguising himself the whole time. Well, you see, in mainstream media today, Lucifer has undergone a transformation from biblical antagonist to charismatic anti-hero. Inspired by literary works such as John Milton's Paradise Lost and popularized by television series like Lucifer, he is portrayed as a complex and nuanced character, grappling with questions of identity, redemption, and free will. In these modern interpretations, Lucifer is depicted as a charismatic and enigmatic figure, navigating the complexities of human existence while wrestling with his own inner demons. Don't you think it's a little too convenient, especially with the rampant rise of satanic and demonic worship in our culture? Maybe he's been working behind the scenes to rip apart humanity as it was intended to be. So the next time you take out the Bible, make sure to look beneath the surface of what is actually there, mysterious beings or creatures alike. It could stand for so much more than what it really is. And maybe, just maybe, it could point us ever so slightly in the right direction when it comes to religion.